Welcome to our lively defense briefing show. Today we kick off with a dramatic twist at Eurovision 2024. Nemo, the first openly non-binary winner, is returning their trophy because of Israel's participation amidst the Gaza conflict. Nemo criticizes the inclusion, citing ongoing military actions and the conflict's tragic classification by the UN. This controversy shines a spotlight on how politics and entertainment clash on the international stage. Next up, Ukraine is making some serious moves, demanding a massive army of 800,000 troops as part of a revised U.S. peace plan to end the nearly four-year war with Russia. President Zelensky's ambitious goal raises questions, especially with reports of desertion and economic struggles. Ukraine is also eager to join the EU, relying heavily on Western aid to support its fight and future ambitions. Finally, NATO's warning is loud and clear. Russia could potentially attack a NATO country within 5 years. With increased covert campaigns and military buildup, NATO urges member countries to ramp up defense spending and readiness. Tensions are high, and the alliance is on alert to prevent any escalation. Please continue to stay tuned for more detailed insights. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports that Nemo, the 2024 Eurovision winner from Switzerland, has chosen to return their trophy in protest against Israel's participation in the contest amid ongoing conflict in Gaza. Nemo, who made history as the first openly non-binary winner with their song The Code, expressed deep disillusionment, stating that the contest's core values of unity and dignity are compromised by Israel's continued involvement during a time when the UN has labeled its actions as genocide. The singer's decision underscores the growing controversy surrounding Israel's inclusion, especially after the country's recent military offensive in Gaza, which has resulted in massive civilian casualties and widespread destruction. Nemo's outspoken stance reflects a broader debate about the politicization of Eurovision, with some countries, like Ireland, openly criticizing Israel's participation, citing the humanitarian crisis and the loss of innocent lives as reasons for their withdrawal from the upcoming contest in Vienna. The controversy highlights how the contest, which claims to promote non-political unity, is increasingly viewed as a platform where political and moral issues collide, prompting individual artists and nations to take a stand. The Yahoo US details Ukraine's ambitious military demands amid ongoing conflict with Russia, revealing that President Zelensky has revised the country's troop strength to a staggering 800,000 soldiers in their latest peace plan. This figure far exceeds the initial U.S. proposal of 600,000 and reflects Ukraine's urgent need to bolster its defenses after nearly 4 years of war, which has decimated its population and economy. Despite the official numbers, the actual strength of Ukraine's armed forces remains uncertain due to widespread desertion and troop shortages, with over 300,000 cases of absence reported since the invasion began. As Ukraine seeks to join the European Union, it relies heavily on Western financial and military support, with foreign donors now contributing more than 40% of its budget. Zelensky's push for a larger army underscores the country's determination to withstand Russian aggression and secure its sovereignty, even as the human toll and logistical challenges of the protracted conflict continue to mount. The BBC paints a stark picture of escalating tensions in Europe, with NATO's chief warning that Russia could launch an attack on a NATO member within 5 years. Mark Rutte emphasized that Russia is intensifying its covert operations against Western societies and warned that the risk of full-scale war is rising, echoing intelligence assessments that suggest Moscow's aggressive posture is only growing more dangerous. Despite Moscow's claims of peaceful intentions, NATO officials remain skeptical, pointing to Russia's ongoing military buildup and the production of thousands of tanks, drones, and artillery shells, which outpace Western capabilities. The alliance secretary-general stressed that supporting Ukraine is essential for European security and warned that a Russian attack on NATO territory could have catastrophic consequences. Rutte urged European nations to increase military spending and readiness, warning that complacency in the face of Russia's military ambitions could lead to a devastating conflict, underscoring the fragile security landscape in the wake of persistent hybrid warfare tactics and the threat of open warfare on Europe's doorstep. According to Yahoo US, recent legislative efforts in the United States reveal a contentious debate over military safety regulations following a tragic mid-air collision over Washington, D.C., when resulted in 67 fatalities. Senators from both parties are advocating for amendments to a defense bill to eliminate provisions that would permit the military to operate helicopters in the region without utilizing the FAA-mandated ADS-B tracking system. Critics, including the National Transportation Safety Board, argue that these exemptions pose a significant safety risk, potentially leading to another disaster like the January crash. Despite bipartisan attempts to strengthen safety measures, legislative momentum appears uncertain, especially with the looming holiday break and the White House's support for the bill's broader priorities. Nikkei Asia reports on China's resilience in global trade amid ongoing U.S.-China tensions, highlighting Yiwu's vast wholesale marketplace as a symbol of China's exports diversification. Despite tariffs exceeding 50% under Trump's trade war, Chinese merchants are pivoting toward Middle Eastern, Southeast Asian, and European markets, showcasing products like perfumes, toys, and industrial robots. The city is expanding its infrastructure, including the development of the Global Digital Trade Center, to facilitate cross-border commerce and digital payments. However, some sectors, such as Foshan's aluminum industry, are suffering from domestic economic downturns and the impact of tariffs, leading manufacturers to seek new markets and upgrade their industrial base to stay afloat amid sluggish property markets and reduced domestic demand. Australian Broadcasting Corporation details the Trump administration's aggressive and legally questionable maneuvers in the Caribbean and South America, focusing on the seizure of an oil tanker off Venezuela's coast. Experts criticize the action as a breach of international law, raising questions about the legality and motives behind such operations. The seizure, justified by claims of supporting terrorist networks and sanctions violations, has sparked outrage from Venezuela, which denounces it as piracy and a plunder of its energy resources. Underpinning these actions is a broader U.S. strategy emphasizing dominance in the Western Hemisphere, with the potential for escalating military interventions, including blockades aimed at weakening Venezuela's government and asserting American influence across the region. This aggressive posture underscores the Trump administration's focus on asserting control over energy resources and regional stability, often blurring the lines of international legality. BBC reports that the Royal Navy recently tracked a Russian Kilo-class submarine called the La as it navigated the English Channel, demonstrating the UK's commitment to safeguarding its waters amidst increased Russian naval activity. The operation involved shadowing the submarine from the North Sea through the Strait of Dover, with the Royal Fleet auxiliary tanker Tide Surge and a Merlin helicopter providing a show of presence and deterrence. This incident highlights the ongoing tensions and the UK government's efforts to protect national security, especially as Russian vessels and spy ships have been increasingly active near UK waters, prompting the government to bolster its undersea defenses through programs like Atlantic Bastion. Despite criticisms over resource adequacy, the UK's firm stance was underscored by Defense Secretary John Healey's assertive message to Russia, signaling readiness to counter threats to undersea infrastructure and sovereignty. CNN emphasizes NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte's stark warning that Europe could become Russia's next target. urging rapid increases in defense spending to prevent a war reminiscent of past conflicts. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, Rutte stressed that conflicts are no longer distant but at Europe's doorstep, with Russia bringing war back to the continent. He warned that Russia might be prepared to use military force against NATO within 5 years, urging member states to act swiftly and collectively to bolster defenses. While NATO has committed to raising defense budgets to 5% of GDP by 2035, Rutte highlighted the importance of the US's role in maintaining the transatlantic alliance, especially as tensions escalate with Russia over Ukraine. His comments came amid European cautiousness regarding territorial concessions and security guarantees, with Russia implicitly criticizing the UK over allegations of British forces operating in Ukraine, although the UK clarified that its soldiers' death was due to an accident during training. BBC also reports on the revocation of a Herefordshire coach company's license after a series of severe safety violations uncovered during an unannounced inspection. The operator, Log Valley Travel Lichte, faced a public inquiry following the discovery of systemic maintenance failures in its fleet, including a vehicle that caught fire while transporting students. The inspection revealed multiple issues such as loose wheel nuts, severe air leaks, and poorly repaired mirrors, with all 6 vehicles receiving prohibition notices. The inquiry's findings describe this as the worst fleet inspection in 17 years, with the operator's safety record deemed dangerously inadequate. The operator and its sole director were disqualified for 4 years, reflecting the serious risks posed to passengers and road users by neglectful maintenance practices, underscoring the importance of rigorous safety standards in passenger transport. In Gaza, amidst the ruins of war and destruction, Gazan artists like Jafar Attallah and Nada Rajab are forging profound symbols of resilience through their creative acts. Attallah, a displaced potter, reclaims his craft by using debris from missile strikes as raw material, transforming destruction into essential household items that sustain life: plates, water containers, and utensils, despite the meager income they generate. His work embodies a fight for dignity amid adversity, as he rebuilds from the ashes of his family's once thriving pottery factory, now obliterated. Meanwhile, Rajab, a young artist and community organizer, channels her trauma into over 300 artworks, created with minimal supplies, using salvage fabric and natural pigments to document and confront the collective suffering of her community. Her art becomes a powerful act of resistance, especially as she brings art into displacement camps, helping traumatized children express their pain and find moments of peace. Their efforts exemplify a quiet but relentless battle to preserve humanity, hope, and identity in a landscape torn apart by conflict. Each piece of pottery and every stroke of a pencil, a testament to the enduring spirit of Gaza's people.
Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6DO team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6DO Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6DO team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6DO Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6DO Brief via email,